To order. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, good morning, everyone.
Got a packed house.
Got a packed house. Jerry's here. Haven't seen Jerry in a while.
Can't hear you.
I see his hair at different places, but not him.
Okay, any changes to the agenda?
I don't have any changes.
If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
All right, do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, the July 7th minutes. Anybody have any corrections or questions?
Yes. On page 2 of 3, under public hearing, under EDA, on the bottom of the page, one of the bullet points should just state that there was no public input, I thought.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
That's good.
On the next page, on under county administrator, something in the effect that the EOC has opened to MSA due to tornado, and I would just kind of get a little dialogue of that near Floyd Lake, because it's mentioned in the next meeting. We have an emergency meeting for that event, so maybe just mention that EOC is open at M State, or maybe Carrie administrator talked about the tornado at Floyd Lake or near around Floyd Lake, and then the next bullet point, EOC was set up to approve for that tornado. And then on land use environmental services, number 2, motion second, approve the capital purchase of a lift in the amount of $22,000. Probably state where that was at. Where it was purchased from. And then I would put a period after that and then state the lift will be shared at no cost with other departments in the county. Otherwise that run-on sounds, it's not sure if the cost will be shared or the use.
Oh, sure, yep.
And that's all I have on that one.
Anyone else? All right, if not, I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from July 7th with the corrections.
All right, do you have a second?
Second.
Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, June 8th minutes for the emergency meeting.
I just thought it should be noted that it was at Floyd Lake, the commissioner tour.
Yep. I had that.
Oh,
too.
yep.
And then, where you got another one?
Well, just how that sentence read.
Yeah.
Is,
I had that too.
and tour the storm damage at Lake Floyd with
That's right.
Representative Michelle Fishbach.
And then is that bottom line with the 7:33 p.m., is that when we were done out there? Okay, I just checked, I wasn't sure.
Okay, anything
Motion to
else?
approve.
All right, I have a motion from Barry. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, next up, we have the consent agenda. After finance yesterday, I just wanted the corrective deed easement pulled, just because I had a couple questions, which is why Mr. McDonald is here. Anybody have anything else to pull from the consent agenda?
Madam Chair, are we going to talk about that now, or are we going to put it someplace to talk about it?
You generally put it if they don't have other topics after me, but if they're both here, I mean, you could do it
We could do it.
first if you'd like.
Approve it and then do it right away?
Approve.
Yep, I'm fine with that.
I'll move to approve the consent agenda with item 6, the corrective deed pulled.
I'll second.
Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay. Brian, just a couple questions about this easement. I just want to,
Come up.
you want to come up to the, I just wanted to make sure that there's no changes being made, and this isn't going to inhibit any of the neighboring property owners. This is really just a change of language to make sure that it transfers from landowner to landowner.
Correct. Run with the land.
Okay.
Yeah, Commissioners, good morning.
Good morning.
Charlie Ramstad, I represent Rick and Roberta. There's a pre-existing easement. And I believe some of the other landowners also have a pre-existing easement over this, right? But I didn't do a title research of their property.
Yep.
It's to clarify, there is no change to the easement language, to the description, to anything like that. It is a non-exclusive easement, so it doesn't mean that the Hendersons have exclusive rights over that road in any way, shape, or form. They never
Okay.
did, and they're not getting it now. The only difference is that the language of an easement, if you want it to transfer to the next person who owns the land, the fancy legal word is that it has to be appurtenant. What it really means is that you have to say it benefits this particular piece of property. So this easement is for this particular property, so that it passes with the property, not to the person who owns the property. I mean, we grant the easement to the person who owns the property now, but if it's appurtenant, that means if they sell the property, the easement runs with the land, and the language of the existing easement doesn't clearly state that. The Hendersons also obtained, this road runs across some private land and also across some state DNR land. And in those two easements, it is clear that it's appurtenant. And so this is just a technical correction, I guess, to an existing easement. But it doesn't change anything else as far as the easement.
Okay.
Madam Chair, Mr. Ramstad, why wasn't this done the first time, or why, it was an oversight, or?
Oversight by your county attorney.
Oh, okay.
Or assistant county attorney who drafted. And really, it's never come up. I mean, I've drafted probably 8 or 10 of these, and that's why we had a discussion at NRM is what is the intent? What does the committee and the board want?
Sorry, he did that. I'm sorry. Steve did that last week too.
It's never come up, and I didn't know what the intent of, if we wanted it to run with the land, or if we wanted each subsequent landowner to come back and apply for these non-exclusive easements across tax forfeited land.
You'd have them coming back each time that it transferred, which, again, but that's a policy question, and it says to me that I have to believe that the intent was that when you granted the easement once, it was going to continue with that land and not just to that person. I mean, I'd like to claim that I'm some wizard and figured this out, but I will point out I'm having some dealing with Josh Dumel's attorneys, and they pointed it out to me, and they said, well, don't you think you should look at that? And it's like, yeah, you're right. I should look at that. And so that's why we're here.
Yeah, I mean, I can see it both ways. I can see including it, and I can see not including it, not in this case, but like as an overall policy.
Well, the
So-
reason there's a difference, and not to go on forever, but is that, there is a difference. There are some times where easements are intended to be just to that particular person, okay? But that doesn't say this in this case either, and the state easement and the private easement are clearly appurtenant, or they run with the land, and so that's the request.
Okay.
I'll give you an example of what might be one that's goes with the individual. I think there's one that we talked about a little bit after this one, and we're getting some more information. They have access through another county, but ours is the closest. So, it's not necessary we have to give it to them. They have access to another way. But so this one you might want to say, well, we'll give you access, but only to you, because we don't want this property developed way back on a small lake that's got all government land around it.
Sure.
So I mean, that case is like, we don't want this to be an open
Non-exclusive.
road. We don't want to have 20 places back there, because this is, oh, anyway.
Yeah, and you might want it to go away. Sometimes in private landowners, most typically from what I end up doing is, somebody gives somebody access across their property to be a neighbor to get to a dock, let's just say, or a boat lift or something like that. And so, yeah, you can go across my property and you can put your boat lift there, but I like you.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give it to you, but I don't necessarily want it to be to the person who you're going to sell it to, because I don't know if I'm going to like them, right? That's where I run into it the most.
And this one is there's numerous people that have easements on this. It's not, there's numerous parties that are getting through on this road to get to their property.
Duhamel uses this road to get to his properties. His are just south of the, so, yes, there are a number of landowners along that east side of Juggler.
Madam Chair, Brian, you're for this, I take it. This doesn't put the county in a bad situation.
Well, I'm
or
not for or against it. Again, I think it's a policy decision of what the board wants to do. Do you want people, every subsequent landowner coming back and applying for a tax forfeit easement or an easement across tax forfeited land, or do you want to do it once?
This case, in my opinion, is clearly one that travels with the land.
Yeah, I
I
would
read-
agree.
I
I
read
think
through
from a
that.
policy standpoint, I think we take it case by case.
Madam Chair, I would agree with what you guys just explained and what Barry said. I think some of these are very case-by-case situations.
Yeah. Okay, with that being said,
Madam
yep.
Chair, I saw Mr. Skoog, and it looked like he was attempting to talk, so I'm
Oh.
not sure if he wanted to chime in anything.
Steve, did you have anything?
No, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair,
Nope.
I'll make a motion to approve approve the change to the easement to make it pertinent?
Appurtenant.
Appurtenant?
Yeah.
Okay,
And with the county attorney's final approval, with his final sign.
I will second that.
all right, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Thanks, Charlie and
All
Brian.
right, thank you both.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, just to clarify the motion, and I would just authorizing the county attorney to make the final judgments on it,
Yep.
if there was any clarification,
Yep.
so.
Yep,
Thank you.
thanks,
Thanks,
Brian. Okay, anyone here for open forum, which would be
Jerry?
just you, Jerry?
No, I'm gonna let you go.
What? You got nothing, huh?
Hey, Madam Chair, since Jim is here, would you like to do the Heartland Trail first?
Yeah, we can do that. Well, maybe we should wait in the event that, well, I guess it is 8:30. I was gonna say just in case somebody else was.
Yeah, I just saw it was 8:32. Maybe we could do our reports first, too. It's up to you.
We can do Jim. It's 8:28. You want to come on up, Jim?
Say, Jim, before we get started on that, we do have a little bit of time to, I just had what is our policy on signs? I mean, I I fully expect political signs, and we allow political signs. What signs I'm getting to be so much problem, and not really a problem, but is the signs for advertising for
Like
numerous different
contractors?
things. Yeah, just everything. I mean, from windows to lawns, that are just blanketing every corner of every busy road. What is our policy on that kind of stuff?
Essentially, we don't allow signs within the right of way.
What's the right of way then?
Well, that would be
On a-
back,
Yeah, I know, but what's the distance?
50 feet from the center line. So, that sets it back ways, and most people don't. So generally, if we have issues or site visibility, we will pick those signs up, pull them out. We don't have the time to move everything back, so a lot of times we just bring them to our shop and they come and pick them up and then reset them.
I'm not suggesting that with people in their political signs, putting it on their driveway. And for sale signs and rummage sale signs. I think but some of these are just strictly massive advertising for their business and throwing out and everything. I think if we pick those up more often, they will quit doing it because they're not going to be allowed in the right of way.
It is a good reminder as we are coming upon election for those that are putting signs out. And I know you're not referring to just, political signs, but it is a good reminder that there is, the right of way that all signs should be out of.
Maybe we should put out a public notice or something, just so it gets out on like the radio or put on our website or whatever.
Yeah.
Madam Chair, at Lakeview Township, the road signs were especially problematic when we went to mow the ditches. So smaller, township's a little smaller than the county, but we picked them all up, took them to our township site, and you can come pick them up, but hopefully that's a little education. Don't put them in the right of way.
Unless you're mowing that first swath, you better not put a sign there, because, we want those mowed and hate.
But they're on electrical poles, they're everywhere, but.
Right, but I'm thinking for mowing, we want to mow that first swath.
Correct.
And we can't have
Correct.
signs there that, unless you have a mode or right under your mailbox where you, but.
Hey, Jim, does the city have an ordinance in the right of way too, or not?
I would think they do. Because
I know that you
Definite.
see a lot of signs on the boulevards and stuff, and that would be in the right of way.
Yep.
Okay, let's talk Heartland Trail.
Well, I guess I didn't come super prepared. I got these letters that were sent in. I think Jay Carlson had sent a letter discussing, his thoughts on the Heartland Trail because he wasn't going to be able to be here. And originally, we thought we might have some sort of, formal discussion and decision on Heartland Trails. I think through all the review and request for people to kind of state their opinions, we asked for people in the Heartland Trail Committee to provide a vote on what they wanted to do. Kind of the impetus of what's driving this is the remaining funds that are left from the Heartland Trail construction. There is excess funds that could be used for engineering design of the next segment.
So the funds left over are the funds that went to Frazee,
Yeah.
the trail to Frazee.
There's approximately $500,000 or $550,000 available. And so those have to be allocated before December of 2027. We could decide in December 27 and get that contract executed, then they would be locked and we could, continue on, or doing it earlier, we can do that as well. But the funds.
Madam Chair, they have to be encumbered?
Encumbered.
Oh, they don't have to be
They
spent?
don't have to be spent by
Oh,
the
okay.
end, just encumbered.
Okay.
So that, if you look at it that way, we do have some time on this. Because it sounds like maybe we need a little bit more public engagement, I don't know. But let's see, well, the letter from Jay, he expressed his thoughts on what he was voting for in the trail segments. I think we provided kind of, several options based off of the Houston engineering study. There were some options in there that didn't rise to the top, but we thought we'd revisit going out of essentially how we leave Dutton Locks and go west. I think the study had, a few options that rated high, and one of them was going down 59 towards the Bucks Mill and maybe using our County Road 17 or 59. Another one was, I think, going north out of the Dutton Locks and then along our 6 and then down through the Pearl Lake area. And I don't know, there were some other options like using our County 22 and stuff and going down towards, the golf course and stuff like that. All kind of seeking to either get to Bucks Mill or, I think the long-term goal was to get the Cormorant area before we head north into Lake Park, where, we constructed the bridge there to accommodate the trail and then go west on our County Road 102 and meet up with the Clay County.
Madam Chair, Jim, you had mentioned we constructed a bridge in Lake Park to meet these requirements?
Yes, well, reconstructed the road bridge with the trail on it.
The trail is
kind
on
of
the
planned for that.
bridge.
Right.
That was back in 2017, I believe, but we planned for that because we knew.
The only crossing over the railroad tracks between DL and
Yeah.
Holly, I mean,
Yep.
that doesn't
The only-
just cross, I mean,
Yeah.
it's over or under, it's only.
Yeah,
cross.
Madam Chair, Commissioner Nelson, I had heard some, I can't remember who I heard this from, but the clay route is that in stone north of Lake Park coming in on the north side of the railroad tracks? Because I had heard that they had backed up on that and were going to come a different way now because they couldn't get across the railroad track in a safe way. I had heard that from the multiple people that I talked to. Had you heard anything like that?
I haven't heard that.
Okay, then I
Because
apologize.
generally, believe their route stays south of 10, and when it gets to Holly, that's when it moves across 10 and north. And there is a railroad crossing there, but that's grade separated, but it's a very small and narrow bridge. I don't know if you might know, Barry, and where 102 comes in and meets up with Clay County. It's a very narrow bridge there.
Very narrow.
So that would have to obviously be widened or reconstructed to get the path through there. But
Yeah, it's
that's
almost-
still there.
It's just barely, I mean, it's trucks can't meet in that.
Hold on. Madam Chair, the bridge you're talking about is the railroad bridge, right? That's what we were talking about before, was construction in
So we're
2017?
talking two bridges,
No.
two different bridges.
Okay, can you
One over by
explain?
Holly, which is under the bridge. It's very narrow, so you can't add a bike trail under the bridge, to go under the railroad in that current bridge.
Okay,
It's two vehicles can meet if they're small, but two trucks I
Yeah.
would not meet on that bridge. It's a low traveled road. It's, County 102, is it? Old number 2 is what I call it, north of the tracks, paralleling the
Yeah.
tracks going
Yeah.
north on the north sides from Lake Park to Holly. It's called Old Number 2 on that road.
Commissioner Nelson, that's Clay County issue. Where was the bridge in Lake Park? What
The
bridge? were you-
main street.
Right in town.
County
Over
Road
the-
7, we can reconstructed the bridge and,
The railroad bridge going over the railroad?
Yeah.
the road bridge over the railroad, yep.
Okay, I guess I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's got a separate lane for non-motor or
Okay.
the snowmobile trail uses it, but it's separated by the concrete barrier, and so there's 2 lanes here and then another lane, and then both sides have sidewalk right on the edge of the railing.
But that's kind of getting further, but that was kind of the intent, to get to Cormorant area and stuff. How do we get there? So I think looking at these different options, we had a vote. I don't think the full committee voted, but then I think 7 of us voted for the 59 route and 4 voted for kind of the Pearl Lake route and stuff. And I think some would like to see the trail go to Audubon as well, which is difficult or whatever. Once you get to Audubon, going to west to Lake Park, it's essentially all on township roads, or would have to be on the Highway 10 right away.
Is there any chance that, I mean, I look at the railroad right-of-way. The railroad has huge swath of right-of-way out there, and I wonder if they'd ever consider allowing an easement for a bike trail.
Well, our attempt when we tried to go out down our County Road 10 to Frazee and use the railroad right away, that was kind of nixed by the CP, or that would be BNSF. It's very difficult. I don't know if they ever get,
How
they're changing their
wide
mind.
was that easement they have there?
Oh, gosh, I think they had 140 feet. We actually overlapped,
Oh.
excuse me, and we were 100 feet away from the trail, or the tracks, I believe.
Yeah. They have a huge chunk of land. But, I mean, you can imagine how big that organization is, and nobody in the lower is going to authorize it. You got to get way up there, and then what do they care? I mean,
So what is needed today? Is this just information, or do we
I
need
think it's information.
guidance?
I know Mr. Carlson thinks that we should do further study, using these excess funds. We can't, just so everybody's understanding, the remaining funds now have to be used on a single approved or, corridor by us to go into final design. We can't do any more concepts or
Okay.
comparisons between the two using that money, so.
Without the map being here to look at, I'm kind of traveling or thinking blind, but could you go the other way? Is there a solid route from the Cormorant area that's going to meet up with either way you go? You know, so you could,
Madam Chair, Commissioner Nelson, that brings one more of several issues in is Cormorant is not included in the current corridor, Heartland Trail corridor. We have had discussion at Heartland Trail meeting of expanding the corridor. Well, that takes time. In the meantime, we need to expend these funds before end of 27 or encumber them at least. That may take until 27 or 28 to be able to expand the corridor.
or from Lake Park down. You know, Lake Park is part of, I mean, the bridge is already there.
Yeah, I think for me, I'm just not for going along Highway 59. And I know I've told you this before, Philip, but I just think if I'm going to go for a bike ride, it certainly isn't just to go down Highway 59. You know, I would rather go see something a little more scenic or,
Yeah,
you know, especially if we want tourists to.
An example of that
go
is,
it, but
we go bike riding, not very much, but so do we go to Pelican and ride that leg along the main road? No, we drive past that and go into Maple Log and drive in and there's parking, we park in a church parking lot, and then you
Yep.
drive to Maple Log and come back through. So we bypass the road, what is that number? That's 59 there. And we drive to get past that because it's like, well, we don't want, we'd prefer not to ride bike for 3 miles on 59 and then get into some scenic country. And
Yep.
so but there are people that stop in Pelican, go to Perham, you know, so they ride to Perham and back. And that's a heck of a route. So, I mean, there's.
Madam Chair, about the scenic part, yeah, I get the Highway 59, County 17, but after you get down to Bucks Mills, you know, it's pretty scenic going the other way. If we can get to Cormorant, County 6, you know, I guess we're coming around the top of Munson, that might be a little more scenic, but I would push back a little bit on that. And also connecting the nucleus of the biggest part of our county. Detroit Lakes is kind of the center of that. We're connecting. And Heartland Trail always talks about connection. We've had Frazee to DL connected. You know, I would support either way. I voted for the Bucks Mills way because we've already done some work there. But I just want to keep the project moving.
If the goal is to eventually hook up to Clay County, it kind of seems like we're going the wrong direction to go down to Bucks Mills.
Well, the quickest and easiest and cheapest way is probably to go Highway 10. And
Well,
nobody
yes.
really wants to do that. So.
No.
Well, Highway 10 wouldn't be bad if you could get that railroad property, get on the north side of the railroad. That would be a really nice route. But, I mean, if you could be on railroad property and you're
Madam-
north of 10, but, I mean, that's not feasible.
Madam Chair, did everyone read Jay's comments? Yeah, okay. So we're,
And I think Cleone had sent one too. I don't know, you should probably get a copy of that.
Yeah, she emailed.
Kind of explained, you know, our process and, so I guess maybe we just need to regroup and kind of talk.
I think I'd like to
But
hear
Jay's-
from like Lake Eunice too, because they had talked about, it's not on number 6, but on the township roads going.
It would be.
Through Pearl Lake. And if there's room in there, because I drive those roads all the time, that's a lot quieter, you know, a lot, you're more.
Madam
rolling.
Chair, I did talk to Lakeview Township to see what the 3 representatives there, 2 of them suggested the Bucks Mills and one wanted the County 6. So it wasn't unanimous from Lakeview. But Lake Eunice, that might be nice to ask them too. But what is the, Erica feels pretty strongly County 6. Dave, Barry, Richard?
So if, I didn't vote because I missed it. But I would have voted for 59 and 17, just for the simple reason that we've done the study there. We get to Bucks Mills, and then there's a lot of scenic ways to get through Cormorant and back up to Lake Park. I do agree, though, the other way.
Cormorant to Lake Park, there's not a lot of scenic.
No, but I mean, to get through that, to get to Cormorant from Bucks Mills.
Okay, you're not
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
Lake.
yeah. No, and I do agree with Erica that the other way is a cool way to go, it is. I just, when we looked at it, there was a lot of variables, like, let's say we get to 138 or we get on 22, there's a lot of elevation issues and you can't do anything about those. Am I correct? Yeah. So that was kind of the biggest block for me, is like, well,
can't
if
have
we get
hills?
here, no, if you're gonna have a bike trail, they can only have a certain grade.
Jim, is that, or Madam Chair, Jim, is that expansion of the corridor, I mean, that's just a process we go to. I mean, we will get that, or could they deny the expansion of the corridor?
I don't think they would deny, it's just a process. 'Cause
Right.
they have a master plan that they approved and adopted that through their public process, so they probably just have to do, more public engagement to see that, the county supports, doing it in these locations, and the residents do too. I think that's been demonstrated, especially by the work that Mr. Carlson did in meeting with all these townships and getting resolutions of support on that. So I think that we can easily demonstrate that our county wants it more south of 10 than along 10.
Yeah, no, and I just, that would just my thought, but like I said, with Phil, I'll support either way, because I want to get moving on it.
So what is the direction? So we know we have to have this money encumbered by a year from December, so December 2027. It can't be used for studies. It has to be used for actual engineering. Do we want to get more public input? Is that what you think might be beneficial, Jim?
Well, I don't know. I mean, we did have a lot through our study with Houston. I mean, when you look at the
But
engagement
that was
online.
specifically for those routes, right? Like that wasn't looking at anything going towards Carmona?
It didn't,
It
it
was.
did not have an end point on it.
There's no end point, yeah, but.
Initially, we're looking to get to Shorewood area, but then we know
Shoreham.
Shoreham, I mean, there's a lot of
Bottleneck.
narrow roads and, those are natural preservation routes that, they're hard to expand, and certainly we can't buy right away there. But I think kind of the reason I think a lot of people in the group who voted for the southern route have been members for a long time, and they understand how difficult it is to move this process along. So we look for wide corridors, easy corridors where we don't have right of way to acquire, where more of the newer people, I think, voted for some of the other stuff, and thinking that would be great to do. Realistically, that could add several years to the process. But I think if we talk with like Eunice and that and see if they have support to use on their roads, R6 is fine. We would probably remove one parking lane on one side to get the trail in. I don't see a lot of people parking on that road through the Munson Lake area, so it can easily get by. That's the biggest pinch point. And then going south down to the Pearl Lake, we got the gravel pit there. We have maybe a great opportunity to work with them. Eventually, they're going to walk away from that, so I'm sure they would allow wider right-of-way and stuff along there for us to build along. And then once you get in, we figured East Pearl would be the easier route to get on, because that's where the snowmobile trail is, and then get down to 22. And then we go on 22 over to, I believe it's St. Mary's Point Road to get down.
What is the plan for East? I mean, eventually the plan is to hook up in Hubbard County, right?
Yes. The
Or-
whole goal is to get to Wolf Lake area.
Okay.
There's a few different options there, going straight down 87, or there's a few of our roads we could get up into there. From Wolf Lake, the vision was to go through the Smoky Mountains. That's has a lot of obstacles now with the motorized trails there, and incorporating non-motorized trails through that.
Yeah, that would be tricky.
Madam Chair, one of the reasons this is really important, I mean, it seems like a long way off, and it is, but Itasca had done all of this kind of work about getting down to Park Rapids and stuff. I talked to Dave Schatzko about this. The DNR was coming on board and did some studies and stuff, and then at the last minute, they said, oh, well, there's some people with farmland that want to keep hunting and don't want this to go through this area. And I think a board member and their recreation person pretty much said, no, we don't want this. We want this to go this other route. So I know this sounds very preliminary, but we need to plan and project, even if this doesn't happen in the next 5, 8, 10 years. That's why I think this is important. That's what Dave said to me as well. Jim, one other question. As far as miles, like as far as trail miles, if you use Dunton Locks as your starting point and Cormorant as your end point, these two ways, are they about equal or is one longer than another? I was going to look at that and I never did.
I would
59 is
think
longer.
they're generally, I don't know, they're not significantly more if you're just looking from Cormorant, if you go up to 6 or if you go down to Dunton Locks. I guess there's a few options, whether you leave from Bucks Mill or from, going the north route, on which roads you take to go west. If you went down to Bucks Mill, you have to, the easy one that we see is just taking 20 all the way down to Zorbas, just because that's a wide county road. There are alternatives to get through there and go north, and kind of the only route going west is 138, and that does have some obstacles. Could that be mitigated? I suppose when you look at some of the trails that go through the Maplewood area, that they have steep grades, and essentially all they have to do is they can go 8% for so long, then they have to have a flat area where you can stop and rest and eat. I mean, it would be stepped. But I think it's all a matter of, what you want to, or which areas you want to go and touch. I think the County Road 20, that touches a lot of people, at Fair Hills.
Yeah.
And all the residents there. 138 is agricultural, so it's not as much, but it is scenic and stuff. But
And I did talk to Wayne Johnson from Otter Tail, and they would be, they would like, if we decide to do that, they would be willing to, that little chunk that goes in on 20 that goes into Otter Tail, they would be willing to put that in the corridor. And they also said, yeah, that would be great. Then we could hook up our trail to that. As the trail they have over there. So whatever that's called, what's that called? Prairie Lakes Trail or something like that.
well, I think their plan is it's at Pelican now, I suppose, Dump Rapids, and I think they probably would like to go up County Road 9 to meet up with Pelican Lake area where their trail is on the west side.
And then there's a lot of people that live on Pelican Lake that would like to have a trail there too, that live on that side, on Otter Tail side.
So what do we need for today?
This has been information and just I asked Jim to come in, I put it on the agenda just to talk about it. I mean, I get a feel from everyone except Commissioner Varberg. Do you have
Well, I look at it, it seemed to me that going, through Bucks Mills might cost a lot more. Do you have any idea about that, Jim?
Well, it has a segment of Township Road there, so, I mean, it has width restrictions, but once you're to Bucks Mill, we have our 147 that we can be on. I mean, we kind of looked at, how much wetlands the impact when you look at both of these trails and how you have to have a trail next to a gravel road and stuff. I mean, there could be cost of realigning gravel roads or reconstructing gravel roads to fit this and have the drainage, with the trail along it. This is stuff we haven't done yet. When you look at the two routes where, I think that's why we looked at 59, that has good drainage. You can sit on a back slope like it does on Highway 10. And, but then when you're on a narrow gravel road with little to no ditches and stuff, you just got to make sure you accommodate the drainage off the township road so you don't impact that and have the trail there.
At Bucks Mills, do we have a long-term, I mean, there's quite a bit of state land there, and we have just a sliver of land. We don't have enough to, make it a real focal point
Destination,
at this
yeah.
point. I mean, hopefully but can we add, well, the DNR, I mean, that's all I mean, people can walk in there. Do we have a plan to expand just a footprint? I mean, if we're going to have a bike trail going there, what are we going to, is there something that they're going to besides driving across the bridge? Is that I mean, are we going to somehow make that more friendly for visitors? With, in part, has to be in partnership with the state because they're the main, they have more land than we do. And are they going to allow bikers to go in there, or do you have to leave your bike at the gate, or, and that might
That's a
be
good
something
question.
we look at too. If we can have I mean, because they have some beautiful land back there, and if we can highlight that as a tourist attraction, then it might rise it more to go to there. But
I don't have a bicycle, I'm not getting one. Yeah, I don't.
Madam Chair, and help me out with this, Jim, but I guess at this point, I guess I would not like to see the Heartland Trail Committee come up with something, and we can go back, let's talk to Lake Eunice Township and see if there's something they want to say. I would really hate to come back here and have a battle. That's why I'm bringing it forward, or we're bringing it forward first, to see. I mean, I don't know any more than what I presented today, or what Jim has said, or what Jay has said. I don't have any more information. I just, whatever we go with, I would hope this board would be supportive. And like I said, in 5 years, it might be an all-new board sitting here, so
Well, and I do, with what Jim had said about those that voted for, the 7 that voted to go along 59, know the process and know the hurdles that you have to go through. So, I mean, that does make sense, and you do have to take that into consideration. But also, I also think new blood is sometimes good to get new ideas in, so I could see it both ways, so.
Jay has been very good on this Heartland Committee, and he's really committed to, and he's spent time. So, I mean, I really respect that and admire that. When they told us what trail would you rather have, like I said, if you could guarantee one way or another, and the least obstacles, the least cost, that those things would help me make a better decision. But for where we're at right now, this is my decision. But like I said, if the other way is supported in a different way, I want to support it too. I want to see something done. Okay.
Well, if you're wondering, Phil, I will support either way. I think for me, that was just my preference.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I'm right with
So, I
you.
mean, I'm not going to cause any
Well, I think
ruckus if
this
it
board
doesn't go
will
one way, but.
all agree that when we end up voting, then we'll support whatever the majority
Yes.
goes
Yeah.
with.
And that'd be where I'm at. It's the one way, it looks a little simpler to me, but I don't know. I haven't measured everything, and I don't know about wetlands or anything like that, and so
I think-
I don't have a real hard opinion either way. I'd like to see the trail. I think it's important for tourism and for people who live here, so.
I think you get a map, and then on the side, you just list some pros and cons of each way. I mean, they both have pros and they both have cons. I
Yep.
mean, one, the Bucks Mills, if we can highlight that might be a significant pro, that, hey, we think this is a site that should be viewed at. Is there any sites going the other way that, hey, this one that goes on the Pearl Lake Road, there's a significant site there, or a significant view, so, I don't know.
Yeah.
To be continued, I guess.
Yeah. All right, we good with that? All right. Thanks, Jim.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you, Jim.
All right, reports and correspondence. Who would like to go first?
I'll go. Heartland Trail Routes, good, we got that done.
Jim, I had a name for Heartland Trail that was very interested to join and get into discussions. Did you get that? I think Mitch or Steve had that name. Did you forward that?
Mitch,
We'll get it. I haven't seen it, but yeah, we can invite them.
Okay. It's Grammer.
Brian Graham?
No, not Brian, it's his brother. Is it Rob? I got it. But he was interested and he wanted to help fast track this. So.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Madam Chair, correspondence and meetings. So we had a Becker County Trail Alliance meeting, and we came out with these window clings, so I'd like to give a few of them to all the commissioners. If you can spread them out through your areas, that would be great. We had planning and zoning on the 8th, just one item on there, the County 59 storage units on South Highway 59. They were actually approved by the township. That subdivision regulation goes to the township, not the county, so that was, we did the planning for it, the preliminary, and they approved it. Recreational Advisory Committee, I know you guys had NRM, some of this stuff probably doubles up. We talked a lot about the Sugar Bush improvements. We've got our new hire on staff mowing our 51 accesses, DNR and our accesses. And then just coming out of the RAC committee, Karen Malari is going to have to take leave for some health concerns, just so you know. Watershed, we had our Bucks Mills celebration, completion of the event on the 16th. I talked about this Trail Alliance meeting. You see the QR code on there. That'll take you to the Becker County, our IT department is working on this. It's up and running right now. It's not complete. All the websites that attach into it, the snowmobile trails, the bike trails, cross-country skiing, downhill bike trails, that's all, this is the hub to send you out to all your sites with whatever you want to do in Becker County. So I'll pass a few of those out to each of you to put in your areas, hopefully. Airport, the high temperatures were delaying the putting down of asphalt. They just couldn't do it and meet the spec. So they've been set back a little bit. Today'd probably be a good day to be putting down asphalt. I had said the last meeting that the arrival departure, the building there, they had applied for a grant. They were denied. They're looking for new revenue sources to complete that. Mead Hunt is the consultant. They're the engineer, and we extended their contract another 5 years. Environmental. So I wish Steve was in here. We just got a lot to talk about here. So we're a growing county. Summer's the busiest season up there. This tornado was an excellent stress test for our department. We're down employees right now. We can't find a truck driver. It's been offered to 2 different people, both been declined. We're hurting up there. We can't shut our gates and take a week off. Those people have all worked overtime up there through the tornado. We've got some serious stuff we got to work on up there. We did shut down we had a long discussion about the grinding of the brush. We shut that down on Thursday. They were here a week, cost about 50 grand, but that is shut down. Material is still coming in. That week probably filled up our brush and log pile to where we would be at the end of the year. So we've still got some hurdles to get over, being down employees and everything else that's going on up there, just so you know. Some good news, we did that sheetrock grinding. I think we got rid of the stuff actually. So Steve will be putting together some costs, weights, what that looked like. And if it was a success, I'm thinking it's going to be a success and not a cost to the county. And we kept it out of our landfill. But that is to be determined yet and will be coming. 245th is just about done. I think a couple gates. We'll probably have to figure out when we want to open that up, Richard, or is that as soon as the gates are up, we're opening, or talk with the township, or I don't know exactly how we're going to do that.
No, I believe that when we're ready, they want it open.
Okay. So that's
Maybe
still in
let
the.
us get rid of some of the.
Yeah, and they're being patient, but they'd like it open, and so, yeah.
So the other thing, the next thing is we talked about cameras, having cameras so we can protect our facility or know what's going on. We need to replace some cameras anyway. We talked about some infrared cameras so they can detect heat. So this led to other discussions, and that led to should our transfer station have sprinklers in it. Richard feels strongly about that. I tend to concur with that. I'm not sure we can handle another fire and go into the old transfer station like we did 5-8 years ago, whenever that was. So one question leads to another and a bigger question, but that sprinklers is a big deal. They got vapes going off. We've had fires during the day. There's batteries in there that heat up piles if we don't see them. It's a serious concern. Our MRF is sprinkled, our transfer station is not. So we had a long discussion about that. Barry's question about, can we take credit cards at different points and stuff? We're still working on that. That's going to be, it's going to take a little more time because there's a whole bunch of stuff involved with that. Redfin was our credit card company. They explained you got to put it in 4 times, and it takes forever, which was a lot of holdup when we were trying to get people through the storm, get them out the gate. So we were going to discuss that. I guess we have a county-wide policy or a county-wide credit card user and credit card. We didn't dig down very far because I didn't know the next question to ask, and we had a lot to get to, but we're working on that yet. Richard, anything to add on that, or?
No, but sooner than later, I'd like to have that sprinkler talk, just because, and I know it's expensive, but if it does happen, it's gonna be a bigger problem than
Agreed.
it was before. And it probably should have went in there right away, and it didn't. But now, can we deal with a fire? We have enough problems out there
You're
the
just
way it
talking
is.
sprinkler in the,
Transfer station.
In the
no, but just
transfer
in the
station.
one part of it.
Yeah.
You don't need it in the.
No, you
in the
probably,
drive-through lanes.
no, I wouldn't think so, but
You
where
just
that
did it.
garbage is piled all the time, there should be something there, and I just, it would just be a really big problem if there was a fire in there. Our old transfer station is not gonna handle what we're doing now, especially in the summer, so I don't know, I don't wanna, we'll.
Maybe we need to get some
somehow-
quotes.
Yeah, and so we're gonna talk about it here, and it's not cheap, because we'd have to drill another big well there, but it's certainly something that is gonna be a problem for a long time if it happens, so, and then if it happens again, so I guess I would like you guys to think about this.
It's coming.
Is there any
coming.
outside the box ways to sprinkle that? I know you could have water on site. Would that be cheaper than drilling a well?
So them tanks, that system is really expensive too. So we looked at that when we did the expansion on the MRF. We went both ways. And probably that well is it's close, but.
I mean, there's probably used tanks you can get. I mean,
Yeah, but it's the.
It's a
But
reliability.
you gotta have the pumps and everything anyway, and so by the time, and then those
you have to
tanks,
have pumps either way, right?
you gotta have pumps either way, you gotta have big pumps either way. I like the well, it's
But you
cleaner.
know, if we don't have to meet specs
Right,
you don't have to, it doesn't have to be an elaborate
no,
up to code system. It just, would this suppress it enough till the fire department got there?
yeah.
That's what we, so you don't need to be as good as it should. I mean, as you'd install it under code, it doesn't have to be that good. It can
No,
be
it
something
doesn't.
that just holds it in control till we get fire department. So, I mean,
Madam Chair, Commissioner Nelson, if we got a fire, I don't want something that might put it out. I mean, I don't want to
well, if you're
spend the
gonna
money.
if you're gonna go up to code, you're gonna do the whole building. So obviously, we're not talking that already.
Yeah, and I don't know why we'd be that worried about the rest of it, but we could look at prices. First, certainly, and it's expensive either way, but.
We're digging down on this. Steve's
Yeah.
going to gather in some information. Maybe if we have some more information.
Yeah,
can
we
make
do.
those
We
decisions,
gotta have
but-
more information, but I just wanted to see where you guys are at on it.
Yeah, it sounds like it's something that needs to
Yeah.
Well,
happen.
it would be a bad,
just
if
need to
it
know.
happened again, it would be a bad thing.
It would.
Yeah. But otherwise, I don't have anything else to add for.
Yeah, so we're digging down on the sprinkler system and the credit card thing a little bit with Mary. Another thing is, I see a lot of bills coming in. Haug is moving our roll-off containers all around, so we need some more roll-offs anyway that we send out to Osage. These are problems when an area is expanding. We're getting more garbage in. So we're going to be coming with some roll-off purchases, 30s and 40s, and we need one more hard top for an organic container. That'll be coming down the road. We talked about the roll-offs. We need more containers, and we're kind of at the mercy of how, when they got their lift truck to move our containers around our site, So we talked about, should we have a roll-off truck that we can move these things ourselves? This is the same conversation I think you guys had when we started transporting our garbage to Prairie Lakes rather than farming it out. This is the same kind of conversation that I think Richard and Steve and John probably had before. But it's coming, so be prepared for it.
Is there any other contractors that have roll-off?
Well, we use
There
how
is.
we use who's ever there when they come up with a roll-off truck. I think, Steve, don't we? We use who they are just to tote them around our site. You know, when one gets full, we got to move it. We don't have a truck to move that.
It's inconvenient is what it is. I'm not saying we'd save a whole bunch of money, but if we were, we were talking a used truck, you know, not something all worn out or something, but because we could, you know, haul some of our own stuff too that we are paying for, but it's really kind of inconvenient if you're in the middle of something.
That's what I was just
Well,
gonna say, that's one of the issues, if we don't have staff, do we want to invest
Yeah.
in
Well,
another truck?
but that there, you know, so say they're separating, because we're separating more stuff. We're trying to keep more stuff out of our demolition landfill. So it's just inconvenient and so staff are not, now maybe transferring stuff around the state is not an option. I don't know about that, but I do know that, yeah, we do have staff to move it around the landfill, and if you got to sit and wait for somebody to come and move this now, it's just that's not a good thing for me. It doesn't work in my business. I need what I need when I need it, and I don't like to, and we are growing out there, so.
You know, our staff, in response to we don't have enough staff out there, you're right. But our staff is very well cross-trained. I mean, we can get guys down to the MRF working if we got a problem there, and we have had. We got guys with this tornado, I'm sure we had guys doing different things that they've never done before. So they've been putting in monster hours, and so the staff is cross-trained. They can get it done as far as getting a trailer, not waiting for Haug to come in there to transfer a trailer. I mean, all our guys can do that.
Yeah, that's
Right.
just, if you got to stop doing that now and then go find something else to do when you could have continued on doing it, it seems to me it's just inconvenient and probably something that I would support a used truck to do that there. But
Couple more things, just moving over to the MRF, the recycle center. We're seriously considering about adding some equipment to minimize the people there. We know about ICWIC. Carrie suggests that is, coming to an end. So we're trying to get more equipment in there. Richard and I are both in agreement to get more equipment, less people to do the work there. But there's going to be some serious costs with that. These are not cheap machines to expand that facility. So that is still in the works and is coming. Better Futures contract, the reuse people we use up there, they've also been working on our mattress recycling. They've asked for an increase in pay. So we're working through that contract with them. We might have to increase our cost of taking in mattresses, but we'll see how that works out there. We're working on that. Organic's still growing. We got more sites around. Richard, I, and Steve spent the last 45 minutes of our meeting on the 10-year solid waste management plan, what we want this to look like in 10 years. This is important work for the future. If you've guys got any specific opinions or anything, please make your voices known as we come up with this, and we'll present it as it is completed. And then we're still waiting on that regional C&D study. I just texted the guys yesterday, that C&D thing, where that study came to an end. I want them to present to you. They're not going to get it done in July, so it's going to be August. So that's all I got, but there's a lot going on up at environmental right now, a lot.
All right. Who's next?
Go ahead.
Okay. All right, so I had a historical society meeting, and they had that lumberjack festival, what was it, about
June, Father's Day weekend?
Yeah, yeah. And it went well. The first day was a little sketchy because it rained a lot, but they still did it. So, but they did it. They had a pancake feed the next day and they fed 75 people. So that was good.
Nice.
All you can eat pancakes they had, breakfast, sausage, eggs.
You had a few?
I didn't, yeah, I think I left them somewhere. So anyway, so they're planning on doing that again next year. The one thing they did realize is when it did rain, they moved it from the arena up to kind of where the not the midway, but where that big tent is in that area. So they're going to do it there again because it worked out better. But they need signage to direct people there because some people are wandering around. Where's it at? So it'll be good though. I think it'll work out well. I had a DAC meeting yesterday, and the swing set slab, the ADA swings that we supported, will be. We're on the list. It's supposed to be done early August. So early August is a wide range of days, but it'll be done. And then as soon as that's done, Dakota Swing Equipment is going to come and spray the rubber pad down, and they're going to install the swing sets. So, and it has to be done by September 1st. And that's what the grant from T-Mobile has us on the docket for. So I think that'll work out well. The DAC also had not really a float in the parade, but they had one of their vehicles. All the DAC vehicles are wrapped. That say Becker County DAC on them. And so they had our director and I think 3 or 4 clients and one of our board members were driving one of the vans, throwing candy at people. Probably hope they didn't hurt anybody. That was when I was in the parade 4 years ago. I hit a kid in the head with and I didn't mean to.
Yeah, but you weren't supposed to give canned food.
Maybe he should have caught it. So anyway, Barry and I had a courthouse meeting, and one of the things we talked about is Anthony Maston and Jason Colwell from our 2 veterans in there, and they are creating the Minnesota National Guard and Reserve Legacy Marker Fund. They're in the process of creating the policy of how to do it, and then they'll bring it to us, and we'll look at it, and hopefully, well, I'm assuming we'll approve it. But anyway, what's happening is these people that are members of the Guard or the reserves that don't get deployed do not qualify for a marker. Like they can be in for 18, 20 years, and they're a veteran of that, but they don't qualify for that. The state.
Just the state of Minnesota.
Just the state of Minnesota. Yeah.
North Dakota does.
North Dakota does, but so eventually what they want to do is they want to have develop a fund so that it can help pay for these markers so these people can get these markers for their.
The end goal would get state legislative
Yes.
change, so these veterans are recognized.
Yeah.
Madam Chair,
So-
Commissioner Nelson, what is a marker? What is?
A marker is in the grave in the cemetery. They have flush with the ground, a bronze marker with their name and then, there's usually like a 4-inch concrete around it. It's flush with the ground. That's the marker they're talking about.
Yeah.
So just a grave marker stating that they're a veteran. So they didn't, under this program at the state of Minnesota, they're not considered a veteran if they're not deployed, but they are certainly veterans that are.
And they served their country, they just didn't deploy.
So this program, and we were very supportive at committee and thinking that we should actually go to AMC and promote this a little bit and try to get some legs under it. So this is a program that's going to happen in Becker County. So we're going to try to, support it and fundraise for it in Becker County. But this is something that we think should be statewide.
Yeah.
Mark, recognizing veterans.
And then I think, and if AMC gets a hold of it and we get some
Legislative
support, I think we'll
maybe we keep
pretty easy.
pushing it.
But right now, one of those markers costs $910. And then installed in the cemetery is usually right around $600. So it's $1,500. And there's there's a lot of people that lose their loved one. They don't have $1,500 to pay for that. So yeah, we thought it was a great idea, actually. So and Tony and Jason have worked they've done a lot of work. They got a mission statement. They got, everything, kind of in the beginning stages ready to go.
Yeah, they're taking this.
Yeah.
They're taking the charge. They taking the lead on this charge.
Yeah.
It's good.
And Anthony was saying that, boy, it's tough to tell someone that we can't get you this because you don't, they don't qualify when they serve their country. Just, to me, that's just terrible.
And there is some, I think there was also, they were talking about some qualifications.
Yeah,
If
yeah,
you
yeah.
have financial need. kind
Financial
there
need
was-
would be one of
there was
them,
some
yeah. And you have to be honorably discharged. You can't, be dishonorably discharged, so they don't qualify then. You have to. So there's like 10 or 15 qualifications that you have to qualify for in order. So there are some people that don't get it because they don't meet those normal, regular qualifications that are set forth, yeah. And then, was everything else on the agenda? Or is there, no, we talked
Well,
about,
just some long-term costs and IT.
oh, yeah. That's nothing new. That's ongoing.
Judy said we're gonna have to replace firewalls in then what, next year or two?
Yeah,
Year?
and then-
And we were expecting some big numbers, and it's a big number, but it's certainly not her biggest number she shared, about 50,000.
Yeah, it was like, oh, okay, that's not so bad.
It's
And then,
bad when 50,000 is a deal when you talk to Judy.
and then we talked about security for our employees, so we're gonna turn off our computers at night now. She's gonna work on that. So. That, because that makes a big difference, apparently, that they can get into your computer when it's on, obviously, if you're not here, so.
Doesn't really affect you, Richard.
Even when you're not talking like just sleeping, you're talking like
Turning-
shut down.
Turning it off, yeah, powering it off, yeah.
That's for, in the system, not our iPads.
And so,
They're not connected. We're not connected.
yeah, do you have anything else on the?
No, I don't think that.
I don't think so. So then I had the Economic Development Board for that West Central Initiative meeting, and I just got a couple interesting stats. So from 2020 to 2024, 94% of Minnesota's net population growth was from immigration. Or immigration or migration, not necessarily immigration from other countries, but people moving,
Or
or
migration
domestic
from
migration to
other states.
Other states, yeah. So that was like, really, that was really interesting, I was surprised. Now, some of this could,
So are we a net positive?
You have to look at the total,
Is
are
the
we a
population
loss on
going
that?
up?
Going out?
yeah, the population is, the projection for the population is increasing in Minnesota, but
No.
very slowly. But it's because of immigration and migration. Now, and all this data is from 2024, so it ended there, so they have new data. So the new data could change drastically because our immigration policies have changed. So it could change.
And Becker County is one of the only counties in this region that is growing.
Correct. So in this area, the counties like Becker County, like Otter Tail, Clay is growing a little bit, but we're in the light blue area, which is moderate increase, and then there's some counties that are dark blue. Like most of those are around the cities areas in St. Cloud and Rochester, and metro project. But there are a couple counties up north. Beltrami County is in the dark blue. They're have great population growth, and St. Louis County does too. So
Lakes areas.
Lakes area.
Duluth area, so that would make
Yeah,
sense.
yep. So, yeah, but most, and the trend is moving into, lakes area counties away from the bigger areas, but there's also a lot of migration to the bigger areas too, just like probably normal. It's probably normal in every state, I would imagine that way. And then another interesting stat is that currently right now, women in Minnesota have 1.7 children. Obviously, you can't have a 0.7 child, but anyway, so the replacement level, which replacement level means that, I know. The replacement level is 2.1. So,
The child?
yeah, so the deaths,
To steady the
to
population.
steady, to level the population. So the only way that we can continually grow or level the population without increased childbirths is to have migration or immigration into our state. So that's how important it is. But as a result of that, that affects our business, our labor force. So our labor force is projected to grow very, very slowly, and you guys can probably see it now. I mean, trying to find a cook to work at a restaurant is impossible.
Or a driver to drive a semi.
Or driver to drive a semi is, yeah. So I mean, it's getting tough, and some of the things that might happen, we might have to recruit people from out of state to come here to do those, to work those jobs.
Or might have to cook our own food.
We might have to cook our own food.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Might have
yeah,
to-
you're gonna go in the restaurant, cook your own food. Here you go, here you go.
I might have to pay more.
Yeah.
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 Yes, Richard.
You
you're
know,
right.
that's
Mhm.
raise the pay a little bit.
I think artificial intelligence is gonna
Yeah, I think
step
so.
up and take a lot of jobs.
Mhm.
Some of them, I mean, I don't think they're going to be able to do, but, you know, I understand the need to grow your workforce, but I'm I mean, I would rather have our global number of people start going down rather than up. I mean, we can't sustain continuing growth in people, or we will,
Mhm.
We'll not never know where to put them.
it's just.
Well, we don't have a place to put them right now. I mean, we have a housing crisis
Straight to the
and,
moon, Alice.
But that's another story. Are you done?
Nope,
Oh, my God.
I know, it's awesome. Hey, I'm not gonna be nearly as long as Phil.
You are, but you're not saying it.
So Minnesota is expected to continue growing, but really slow, and slow population, but the population is also aging. The aging population is increasing, probably just like every other state. So in order to keep our workforce and our economy going, we're gonna have to rely heavily on migration of people into the state of Minnesota. So, just some of those numbers were interesting. Last thing I had a Partnership for Health meeting with Erica. And we, one of the things that we had, if you could bring that up, Peggy, it's a Credible Mind, it's a mental health and well-being website. So what Partnership for Health did is they purchased this from this company for Becker County and Clay County. And there's a QR code there's gonna have little flyers like this with a QR code on it, and anybody can take a picture of the QR code, get on their phone. What the difference between this website is and an app and other apps is there is no advertising, no pop-ups, no distractions for people. This is simply people can log in, create an account, and they can have stress relief for ideas. There's a lot of information on there. If they need to see a professional, they can have links to how to do that, where to go. So this is actually one of the biggest things that affects our school-age children is mental health. And this is a site that's going to be, they're going to present it to schools, they're going to present it to counselors, to people, and I think it's a great opportunity. And like I said before, one of the nice things is there's no distractions on it. You get the exactly what you need and what you want. And so anyway, and they made it a website for that specific reason, but if you know how to use a phone, you can change any link that you get for a website into an app for just your phone, or just you. So anyway.
and they can't make it an app because it is a paid,
It is a paid, yeah.
it's paid by the county, but free for
Yeah.
those that use it. So there's no way of making it an
Yeah.
app so that it can be done that, or I'm sure there is a way, but
Well, but they didn't want to do that.
they didn't do it that way.
Yeah, they did.
so.
They wanted to keep it this way so that it was free for people.
Yep.
Yep. Also one thing we talked about is what is it called? Kratom? Is that what it's called? You know more about that than I?
Nope.
I don't know a lot about it.
I think I missed that conversation
Oh,
in the meeting.
so anyway, this is a big problem. This is an herbal extract that is it's a chemical or an extract that is supposed to like relieve anything. Like
And it's
relieve
available
pain,
in
and it's available
gas stations.
Gas stations, and it's very, very addictive. Almost, they said probably more addictive than opioids. But the one thing, so there's really no regulations on it. One thing our state did though is or the federal government said it's either our state or federal
I think it's
government. State, you have to be 21 to purchase it. But you don't have to have it behind the counter. You don't have to have it anywhere. But it's crazy. I got the information on it.
Yeah, I've read a couple articles. There was several articles in the Fargo Forum about it
Yeah.
in the Fargo Moorhead area.
And
It's a scary,
it is scary, and they sell it in gas stations. I don't know if they sell it here in town.
yeah, I don't know either.
I mean, the last time I heard about it was at our last Partnership for Health meeting, and it was just a blurb about it. Now they gave us some information, so
Yeah,
it's a big deal. Do you have anything else on Partnership for Health?
nope,
I'm done. Dee?
nope.
Kind of a segue right
I'm
into,
gonna time you.
our benefits committee. Eric and I were at benefits. We are looking at the healthiest you for the county. There's a cost to the county. This is something that if the thought process would be, if we had this, it might, we have to pay for it upfront, but it might reduce visits to the hospital for employees and therefore keep our rates less than what they would be.
Yeah.
So there's lots of things. Mental health is one of their things that they provide. The cost of this would be, so all the employees have to do it. We have two options, either all the employees that are on medical or all the employees that get benefits.
eligible.
That are eligible.
Mm-hmm.
So the cost for all employees on medical would be $32,292 for the whole county, and the other one was $40,296.
And the hope
There's
behind
lot-
that is, sorry.
There's
Eric.
lots of numbers that we could go over, but the
Mhm.
thought, and we're doing some more research on that, so we'll probably have another discussion on that. But that's what it is. It's something that it would be free to all employees. They could have visits to doctors. I mean, we're paying for it up front, but then anything after that is all free. So you could, if you have pink eye, you can call this number, probably snap a picture of your eye, and then have confirmation and get a prescription that way rather than going to the doctor. I mean, it's not going to fix a broken arm or anything, but I mean.
Madam Chair,
some of those.
Commissioner Nelson, is this telehealth? Is this a form of
Yep.
telehealth?
Yeah.
The difference is it doesn't count towards our utilization rates. So one of the things that is
Oh,
drastically driving our health insurance premiums is our utilization rate. So that's why they're going up. So the benefits committee and TR really are looking at options of what can we do to keep our utilization rate down. So if we have this, if they choose this to go to telehealth mental health appointments or telehealth, for rashes and pink eye, ear
Just-
infections,
Yeah, things like that.
it doesn't cost them any money because
It doesn't go towards their.
they're
even the medicine
deductible,
doesn't go towards their deductible either.
but it doesn't cost them anything and it keeps our utilization rates down.
So there was discussions about, we have Sanford Health has, or some of the hospitals have some of these things already available, so.
But they
we're-
cost money.
We're going to be looking into that
Is that,
more.
is that same thing or similar to what VFW is doing right now with their veterans?
I have no idea what
I think they're
VFW is
doing-
doing.
Well, let's not get off topic here,
Yeah.
and let's continue on. We're looking at more, we're continuing on the options for dental, so looking at those. We had, was it short-term disability that's going to be eliminated because there's nobody taking that anymore? So that will be
Paid family leave.
because of the paid family leave.
How much was that a year?
I don't know.
Like, is that similar to what this healthiest you?
I think it's
So-
more expensive. It
The-
depends on how much you're getting paid wage-wise.
Another the final topic that we had an employee or an individual that their check is less than their benefits. So deducting all the benefits from their check, they have a zero pay. And in the past, we've only had one check that we've taken out of. So now we're looking at options of taking some of those benefits out of this, the remaining balance of that benefit package out of the second check. So.
Hold on. Commissioner, you said that someone is working, I assume, part-time? and
Full-time employee.
So
I'm
the
guessing it
cost of
takes-
benefits is more than they're
The
making?
cost of benefits and HSA is more than they're making.
I'm guessing
Now
it's a
this-
family
Well,
insurance.
HSA
Family
is a
insurance.
choice, right?
Yes. It's not giving them anything more, it's just the option would be taking what they are deducting out of their next paycheck, not out, because their first paycheck isn't covering it, covering their requested deductions.
Which goes back to the long-standing conversation that has been going on for probably over a decade is our family insurance is not cost-effective. So, I mean, we have lost many employees, myself including, because of the price of our family insurance.
Yeah,
And we don't have a lot of people that
And this is
take
probably,
it, but
this is going to, we're looking at a 19% increase
Mm-hmm.
next year, so, I mean, that's,
So you're saying we have bad insurance?
no, I'm not saying we have bad insurance. Our family insurance is very expensive.
Well,
Doesn't necessarily mean it's
doesn't
bad.
expense equal better insurance? Aren't you paying for what you get? I mean, I hear this They can't even pay for the insurance. I mean, I don't know who
Should
or
we
the
not, should we
situation.
not insure? our
No,
kids?
that's not what I'm saying. But you just said you left because of poor insurance?
For
Yes,
family.
For family insurance. Some of us have husbands that don't work outside of, my husband's a farmer, so we don't have, our family doesn't have an option of another spouse to get health insurance, so
And the discussion at
we
this meeting
we
was
took
not,
family insurance.
was
and-
not anything other than they would like their remaining expenses taken out of their next check. It wasn't a,
So maybe we change it so that
well, there's.
some of those
I think the-
benefits come out of both checks.
But if you take it out of their next check, what, are they going to owe you the next month? Are they going to owe the county for working for us?
No,
No.
the,
You're splitting the expense into
so
checks.
right now, all deductions are taken out of one check. The second check doesn't get these health insurance and reductions
Oh,
taken out.
you, being paid twice a month?
Yeah, we're paid every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So they're only taking out of one check and the second check. So
Oh.
no, there would be not, certainly not that. So anyway, that's being looked into. Any options on that? Well, we covered, moving on to NRM. Obviously, the White Earth has contributed a dock to the Little Sugar Bush Park. That we had some discussion, I think RAC committee is looking at what we can do with that foundation of that building when it's done, is that correct?
That is correct.
Heartland Trail. Just looking, we talked about a lot of this stuff, so I don't need to discuss any. I had the Ojibwe rally request, so that got recommended to move forward. It was kind of interesting conversation, but, well. There was a White Earth report that there was discussion of Otter Tail County had ticketed a couple tribal members for leaching without a state permit, and in the past that hasn't been considered. So they're battling that. That was quite concerning because if we know that there's some history there with, but those tribal members have always been allowed to leach on state and federal lands, and I don't know if they were on private or not. So that was a little bit discussion, but
But that was in Otter Tail?
that was in
County?
Otter Tail County. It was a DNR person that take
So
them.
it's a state.
not- Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else on, Richard? Anything else on that?
No. Other than that tower, where they want us to,
Yeah, we've got
want to buy us out.
that's
Oh, the
coming up in
Verizon
our,
tower, yeah.
that's coming up on the agenda.
Well, you're going to talk about that?
I am, unless you want to.
No, I do not.
I think that I'll let
Are you done?
finish, yeah.
Do you have any, Richard? I'll talk
Just
EDA,
EDA,
yeah.
and you're going to do that? I
Yep,
don't
I
have
can do that.
anything then. You guys
Okay.
are all fortunate. I'm not going to.
Richard and I also had human services. But just a couple of things to note. They did review the Becker County Opioid Settlement Fund review team, like the bylaws, because when it came forward, we had talked about having a commissioner on the review team. So they reviewed the bylaws, and there is no reference to who must be on the review team. So there are no changes to the bylaws needed if we want to have a commissioner sit on the review team. So if everybody's okay with it, I'm willing to do that on the next review for it.
Should
Or
we
if
put
somebody
it on
else
the
wants
agenda
to.
for appoint a commissioner?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I'm already on it would just be an
Extension
additional
of-
meeting to the opioid
Extension of your duties.
advisory. Mhm.
Probably still have to appoint you, though.
Probably stuff like
I don't know.
I would say yes.
that. Yeah, I would say.
Okay.
I'd say that.
Next month?
Yeah, we can do it next month because it'll be several months before we have another review. So
And one should be good enough, so that we don't need two.
I don't know, that's up to
Let's put it on the agenda and then
Discuss it.
discuss it.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
Another thing, at our meeting, Denise wanted to make sure that we recognize the supervisors in human services and the public health staff for really stepping up and assisting at M State following the tornado just, she really appreciated their teamwork and willingness to help. She sent out a text that night and every supervisor responded and was there. So kudos to the Human Services team over there for stepping up. We also talked about the changes coming to SNAP and Medicaid. The current estimate to the county for the shift in administration costs for the SNAP program is about 25%, which is expected to be between 200 and 300,000 for Becker County alone. So that'll be an increase.
Those are the numbers that I was asking about
Yep.
last.
And so we don't know that that's necessarily, of course, Denise and the team over there is really looking at other things. So we're not saying that the budget is going to increase that much, but that's what.
Are those
it's gonna be additional
those are
costs.
mandated? Those aren't, it's not optional if we can or can't provide that.
Correct.
I mean,
Yep.
so this is a direct
Shift.
shift
shift,
from the
yeah.
federal government that just unfunded things that are mandated. So this is 100%.
This is the cost to implement a federal program that
And
has
they
been
just,
shifted
and they
to the
just cut
county.
funding.
Administrative costs.
Yep. The other thing that could come with that is the state. So I believe Shannon said it was a 5% cost of the program. So not just the administrative cost, but cost if a state has higher than I think it's a 6% error rate, and we are at a 6.2. We, meaning the state, not Becker County. Becker County is always consistently lower than that. But we don't know how that's going to affect if Minnesota can't get that error rate down. We don't know how that cost is going to trickle down to counties, if it's going to be only those that are under the error rate, or if it's going to be equally dispersed among all. That we don't know. So that there's more to come on that, but
Which, you know which counties are, what are,
no, I don't.
I think you
I
can
would
look
say
that up.
Hennepin
Right,
and, like the metro area are probably, and again, that is, I would say much due to the
technology?
The technology used for those programs is almost as old as me, not quite, but,
Well, probably volume.
yep.
Madam Chair, so, I mean, you just mentioned this 200 to 300,000. That will be part of our levy for next year because we don't have a choice.
It will be part of the Human Services budget. Now, that does, Denise was very clear that we
Yeah.
don't know that Human Services budget is going to go up 200,000 or 300,000, but because they will look for other cost savings and.
Yes,
But that will
portion
happen
of it
in
is
2026.
increasing, yeah.
Yep,
Yep.
we begin paying that the first
Okay.
quarter of 2027.
Okay.
So
Yep.
just because the federal government stands on their soapbox and say, we just cut your taxes, doesn't mean anyone's going to see any cost savings, because we're going to be paying now a local property tax,
Right.
paying for a federal
Yeah.
program that
Yep.
maybe they should have cut and found inefficiencies rather than let's just slash and let
Yep.
someone else figure it out.
I'm going to keep on going with the good news. So,
300,000 is good.
no. So medical assistant staff, again, because of changes made to the Medicaid program, they will see an increase in their workload that will double because they will now have to touch every Medicaid case. Previous to 1/1/27, they process those applications once a year, those renewals once a year. They now have to touch those applications twice a year. So they now have to be reviewed every 6 months. So they will have double their caseload than what we have previous years. They will also begin, because if you recall, there is now work requirements that come with Medicaid. So they will again be receiving system-generated tasks for them to complete, which would be those additional tasks that would be, checking those work requirements.
And
So,
how much increased funding did we get for this double workload?
none, zero.
Oh,
So Shannon did say, they of course will monitor it to see, what their team can handle.
yeah, and I don't know if
We'll
it
go from
necessarily
there,
be
but-
double, I mean, I understand the double that, but hopefully efficiencies can come with that more contact. And
Yep.
I think the goal was less fraud and more get back in the workforce. So that the end goal, I mean, I don't have a problem with the goal. It's a good, positive. But I think think the mandate on some of this is a stretch, because some of those,
Yeah.
they should allow some discretion,
Mhm,
you know?
yep.
So,
Yep. Okay, that's all for Human Services. I had the Movie Outlaw Senior Council. So Movie Outlaw received notification that they were approved for the RSVP grant. If you recall, I believe it was last year, they applied and were denied. They reapplied this year. They were approved for a 3-year grant, and this really helps support the volunteer program that they have. So they were very excited to have that back as an option for their volunteers, because they do have a large volunteer program over there. Just a reminder, the Becker County Outstanding Senior Ceremony is scheduled for July 30th at 1 p.m. at the Becker County Fair. So,
July 30th.
did I say July?
Yeah,
Oh,
I was
okay.
just thinking, I'm
Thursday.
usually thinking,
Yeah, yep, and they do have, I believe, a couple, there was an article that went out because they had not had any nominations, and I believe they had 17 of them. So the article really helped from the DL paper. So I had West Central Regional Juvenile Center. We approved the budget for the year. It was a 4.99% increase. The reason for that increase really is the youth that are coming into the juvenile center, they really have an increase in mental health needs, which of course requires additional staffing. They also have the new legislation, I believe it's the second or third year, called safety-based separation. So if a student or if a youth in the correctional or the juvenile center gets in trouble and they have to be separated from the rest of them, there's an additional ream of paperwork that has to be completed and explain everything that was done prior to and after and during, and it has resulted in a significant amount of paperwork. Now, they have been recognized for how they've handled the safety-based separation, and many of the juvenile centers, not just in Minnesota, but throughout the country, have kind of mirrored that because they do a really good job at West Central. But that, again, has increased their paperwork and need for additional staff, which we did approve, I believe, at the last board meeting. So as a result, we did look at our non-member rate. Our non-member rate was, lower in compared to the rest of the state. So we have been increasing it every year. I believe we were at $4.50 for non-member rates. So those that aren't a member of West Central get charged that rate. And then those that are a member get charged based off your usage. So we were presented options of $475 or $495, and the board chose to go with the $495 because it's really still aligns with what other juvenile centers are charging. And we're not searching for kids to come. Like, we still have a high need. There's still a high need for it. So we're not worried about charging $495 and them not coming. Is that a daily rate? It's a daily rate. Yep, $495. Yep. So that $495, charging the $495 instead of the $475 saved Becker about $18,000 for this year. So that was a good thing. So when looking, so how West Central determines their yearly what we pay West Central a year, they look at the 2-year look back period. And we have seen an increase in stays at the juvenile center of about 18%.
we're at a high trend rate.
Yep. So that caused our cost drastically increased. I believe last year we were right at 300,000. This year we're at 515,000 to pay West Central. So we are going to be paying for that. That does include, again, for those members, they get a credit for this year. It was the revenue over expenses for 2025, which is again based on your usage for that year. So that includes that 515,000 includes the 118,000 that we got a credit for 2025. So just so you know, sometimes it might be beneficial for us to look into what can we do to keep juveniles out of juvenile centers, because it is spendy. And
Quite a few years ago, we had a very high rate too. We were going
Yep.
up and then I don't know what.
yeah, we had 2
brought it
years
back.
where we were trending down and our rate was pretty low, but a couple of juveniles can really increase it. So, and also just a note, this price, our juveniles 10 to 12 will no longer be able to go there after to the secure unit. I believe they're still able to go to the non-secure, but they will no longer be able to go to the secure unit.
And
as
there's,
of August
I don't
1st.
know if we have a lot of those, but when they do.
We do have one.
It's spendy.
It is spendy, and so that was my news for West Central.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Commissioner. And I know they have a plan, but what is kind of our plan? Is adult or child protection just going to take over all that?
For 10 to 12?
Yeah.
Yep, so the plan as of August 1st any juvenile offenses will be referred to child welfare. And then I don't know that official guidance has been given by the state, like on how to handle it. As of the Human Services meeting, it had not been. But what they did say at the West Central is we still have the option if we have a 10 or 12-year-old that has been picked up on a serious offense and we don't have a place to go, we can always call there to see if they have openings in the shelter, non-secure side. And that could be an option, but not a long-term option. It would not be included, that would be an additional cost onto that for West Central. But that is an option if we don't have a place for them to go. So, yeah. Anything else? Okay, I just have EDA. Just for those that are interested, they're having, I believe we talked about this at our meeting with the joint governance meeting, but they're having a rededication for the Hake Lucky Park in Frazee tomorrow at 7 p.m. in Frazee at the park, his park, which is right by the, kind of by the over-under bridge in Frazee, if you know where that is. Karen Malari, she did resign from the EDA, so we do have an opening in District 1. We did accept that resignation, and I believe we have it posted for District 1 EDA, or we will have it posted.
I was going to say, I don't think I
Yep. We will have it posted. Just to update on some of our public housing, we do have one opening in one of our public housings, or public houses as of June 30th. But we have 31 people on the waiting list, so it will be filled up. It might even be filled up already. We are currently assisting 50 families with a housing voucher program, but we do have 249 on the waiting list. Maple Avenue is near completion. We've seen pictures of it at our EDA, and we were very pleased with the end work. We just have some outside the deck lights that we do. There will be an extra cost for that because that was not included, the electrical work was not included in that, so we will have to get that completed, but it looks really nice. Our West River townhomes are full. Do you have something?
Madam Chair, yes.
Yeah.
Maple Avenue, do you remember who did the construction on it? or who-
Timberline?
Timberline?
Yep.
And you're happy with it?
Yeah.
Turned out
The,
really nice.
it looks nice. They
you see
provided
the
pictures,
Yeah,
progress pictures throughout the project,
saw
and
Huh? Yeah.
so, and the tenants were also very happy about it. So, then just the final thing I want to talk about is our housing contract. So, the last couple of years, we've had a lot of discussion because of the continual increase of our MMCDC contract. And we've had a couple of issues with it. Cody and Tom Clevey, who's our chair of EDA, had a meeting with HUD regarding our Inspire inspection. So every 3 years, Mary? We have, the state comes in and inspects all of our public housing. So they had a meeting because of it. Becker County did not pass our Inspire inspection. So we'll now be required to have the inspection every year. And at that meeting, Minnesota HUD advised that we have a change in our housing management, that we cannot be status quo. when we talked to MMCDC about it, they have assured us that all of the corrections have been completed. We have not gotten all the documentation, but they have submitted the documentation to the state stating that it has been completed. They stated that the reason for the results of the Inspire inspection was really because there was new inspectors, and that there were things that had passed before that would have passed but didn't this time. My concern with that is if that was really the case, that would have been seen across the state. And really, I think there were 2 public housing agencies that did not pass, Becker County being one of them. So this, along with the loss of funding that, we did talk about, I believe it was our 2024 funding that we lost for the capital improvement or capital project, which was a result of, again, their failed reporting, MMCDC's failed reporting. We're really looking at what our options are for housing. We made it clear at that meeting that we will be making a decision at our August meeting, and if they're going to come to us with a contract proposal, that contract proposal must be with more Becker County oversight and must be drastically reduced if we're going to consider continuing with MMCDC. So we will have a decision for this board, I believe probably at our September meeting, because we will be making the decision at our next EDA board.
So are you looking at all options? I mean, you're looking at all options for that August meeting to make the decision?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Including in-house or other agencies or whatever combination is?
Yep.
And it might be a combination of that. So is it Hubbard County that Cody, that could help us?
Cass.
Yep.
Yep. They had a meeting with him. He actually used to work for Becker. I can't remember his name, but.
Yeah, so we're looking at a lot of different things, but we probably do have to, or we have to change something. Something's got to change.
Madam Chair, Commissioner Varberg, so you're talking about taking that either in-house or all, like Barry said, all the options are being
Yeah.
considered now? You'll
Yep.
make a decision at August, but that will come before this board?
Yep, we
That
have
will
to make
come-
the final decision.
The board does?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep, EDA will make a recommendation to this board, and then this board will make that final decision, and we want to do that
If,
prior to the.
if it was brought in-house, would there be a benefit for the employees to be, I mean, they're not going to just be specific, they would be in our accounting, or, I mean, we would be one of, I'm just thinking we can,
There's quite a bit of work there, so.
Yep,
right, but I mean, you're not going to have one person just for housing.
Yes.
I mean, you will.
Talking in the finance.
No, but I'm saying you will have them cross-trained in other areas. I mean, I would hope that we have more than one employee that can handle that
Yeah.
job.
Yes,
And
yep.
have cross-training, and then that, I mean, that's what I'm getting at, more uses rather than just.
At least one full-time person.
I'm not arguing that it's not full-time position, I'm saying I would want cross-training.
we would probably be looking at 2
So if
full-time.
so some of the document or accounting processes, it would be part of the accounting team, another full-time person in accounting or accounting / housing,
Yep.
whatever.
Yep,
But you know what I'm saying, look at it as an opportunity
yes.
to enhance a program already.
The other thing that we need to also really look at is the maintenance of the homes. You're going to have an on-call person. So we've talked about looking at our current, what do we have in maintenance, but also looking at sending out an RFP to see if there's an agency that wants to do all of our maintenance and be that on-call person.
I've suggested a company has come to me asking to do that. And I've tried to set up some times to have them present it at a courthouse committee meeting, but haven't had a lot of buy-in.
So that might be a good option for the housing.
Yeah, it might be, yeah.
So it's all kind of, all these discussions for the last couple of years is finally kind of coming to a head of, it's really time to rip the Band-Aid and just do it. So that'll come. Anything else to add to that, Richard?
No.
All right, that's all I had.
Are we done with reports?
Yeah,
I think so. Do you want to take a break? before we
Yeah.
go to
Yeah,
meeting?
we can.
I'm looking in that direction.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
we'll take a 5-minute break.
Thank you. It could be a QR code to Richard's website.
think of that.
Right there, put one on Richards.
Yeah, give me a couple of them, Bill.
Okay. The only thing for appointments is just the EDA. You're going to get that posted. Anybody have anything else?
I think we should just send some thank yous for former members that, like for Karen.
Yes.
Okay, yeah,
Send
I
a thank
believe
you.
that.
And I don't know if Ellis Peterson from Watershed ever got a thank you for serving, but I mean, he put a lot of years and just a thank you from the county is when we can catch these. I think that should be our
Yep.
policy.
Good idea.
Yeah,
Yep.
I like that.
Madam Chair, who's going to do that?
Well, whenever we have like if it's for planning and zoning, I think they should. If we see a resignation, I mean, we're gonna miss some, no question. But I think when we find them, we do it. I think we ask, well, when we have a new appointment, we could ask, someone to replace, we should thank them for serving. We should all monitor that. But the department head in charge of that should remind us. It's not a,
No, I agree. I just,
Yeah.
if it's not assigned to everybody, to someone, everybody thinks everybody else does it and it never gets done.
Right.
That
Okay.
was-
Just moving on. Since we are so far behind, I'm going to skip over you
Oh, okay.
and move to IT so we can get Judy and Steve back to,
Okay, that's fine.
I mean, they're more than welcome to stay and listen, but
I listen upstairs, so that's
Yes.
fine. So, good morning.
good morning.
Commissioners.
Morning.
I'm bringing before a memo for action, which is the Microsoft server licenses, which allows us to go from 2019 to 2022 and 2025. It's good for 31 months, and the cost is $56,455.36. So are there any questions on this? And we do this every so often, and usually we have about a year where we don't pay for it at all. It depends on how often they come out with new things.
and in committee, this specific item wasn't budgeted for
Yep.
that much, but she has other budget
Offsets.
that offsets that. So
Yeah.
this is a 3-year, so.
Yeah.
we-
That's
we-
3 years.
Just to,
And it's
just to note
needed.
that, yeah.
Yeah,
It's-
We don't have much choice.
Madam Chair, I'll move to approve the Microsoft server licenses, Microsoft Square licenses
SQL.
for SQL. for
Okay,
3
we have a motion.
Very second.
Very second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you,
Thanks,
Judy.
Judy.
Thanks, Judy.
All right, Steve. How's it going, Steve?
Morning. Oh, not too bad. I have one item before you today. That's Resolution 07263Z. It's a request to combine 2 part-time pay station clerk positions into 1 full-time position.
All right,
Madam
anybody have
Chair,
any questions?
I have a question. How does the part-time get health insurance?
You won't.
Well, it says 5988 under a 26 cost to fill under health.
There is I believe it's the Teamsters contract, there is an allowance for part-time to get I'll call it a stipend towards health insurance.
I think it's $200 a month.
I believe it is
200 or-
too. I believe it's 200.
I don't think anybody's actually used it though, have they?
I can't answer for you, I don't know.
200 a month is 24,
There's 2 of them.
There's 2,
48.
2 positions.
48, how
Maybe
it comes up to that, yeah.
yes.
That part I can answer, but I know in the Teamsters
be
contract
5,
specifically,
98.
there's language.
And that's just, we have to budget for that in the event that,
In case somebody exercises that, yeah.
okay.
Well,
But I
Still
didn't do the
doesn't
math,
answer.
yeah, I was going to say, I didn't do
doesn't
the
make
math on this, so I
sense.
can't.
The math doesn't add up.
so my point is, if that health insurance is eliminated, the budget would be,
Or is it 352?
It would be, what, the difference is what, 8 something? 8,267?
well, when I see one number wrong, I don't have a lot of faith in the rest of the
Yeah, I
numbers.
know.
Or one thing that can't be answered, I don't have a lot of faith in the.
Madam Chair, Steve, did you come up with this table or where did this
I
come
did
from?
not. I got that from the auditor's office.
So how many hours are the 2 positions?
The 2 positions, they were,
28 each?
roughly
Here,
28,
28.
28 and 30.
They're both 28?
So that's
The problem we had is we had 2 vacant positions, and we were trying to hire, and we weren't getting any response. We hired one, he left. And so we're back, we just aren't getting applicants for the part-time positions. And so we did post and advertise it as a full-time position, and we did get some response at that.
I don't know, I don't think these numbers are real good. I don't know what to look at. But as far as the philosophy, if it's a cost savings and the work can get done, the only other thing that I would like is if we don't have just someone at the pay scale, I would like to make sure we have this person available, cross-trained, and the job description broad enough that we can bring them into the, say we changed how we ticket and we pay at weighing, that they can be a weigh or a monitor of the load and tickets there. So what I'm saying is, if we do change our system a little bit, that they will still be, with their job description, that they will be taking payment on a different area, you know.
Yep.
So otherwise, if that will work, I'm okay then with.
I think we can adjust the pay station clerk to do that, I would think.
In regards to your question about that, in previous meetings, we talked about doing research and finding out if we can more streamline the ticketing process. So I had looked at, I went to Beltrami County, looked at how they did it. Many counties use the same software that we do as far as for solid waste. And I wanted to find out how other places did it, because there is ways that you can maybe streamline this part of the time. Some of the time it wouldn't work, just depending on the circumstances. But there's times that I think in the shoulder seasons of the month, or if it's slower out, where this might work. But not like obviously this last week.
I don't see how this wouldn't streamline your whole process all the time and be a cost savings, but that's for another day. If this moves forward, I just make sure we have a broad job description so that we can move them and do different things rather than just ticket, and they can check loads and.
So
Cross-train them.
what currently is the clerk, pay station clerk, is it a pretty basic job description now? Is it broad enough to cover something like that, or does that need to be
No,
adjusted?
we would adjust it. We would look at, in the future, as we get them trained in this, and then look at cross-training them in other things and adjusting that job description at that time.
Okay, so we would want to do that if we.
So I think you just modify the resolution a little bit to say, pay clerk and additional duties as needed. So your job description will change. We're not defining what your job description here is, but we want to expand to make sure that so if you hire someone that they say, well, that's not in my job description, I'm not going to go check a load and then give a ticket. So.
And that's included in a lot of the job descriptions as other duties is assigned. But to your point, that definitely is something we would want to.
Well, I think you want it in the resolution, probably just
pay
stating.
station and other job
Peggy, you
duties
got
as
that?
assigned.
And for
Changing
the cost here, Barry, were you questioning the 4,800 or the 5,989?
59.89.
So the 5,989 is what it's going to cost for the full-time for the rest of the year.
Yeah, and when I looked
And the
at,
4,800 is what was budgeted for the 2
Oh,
part-time.
so that would be
That'd be
that would
$200 a month
200
for the whole year,
the
For
whole
2
year.
part-time.
right?
Yep. And then the 5,989 is what it's going to cost for the full-time person for the remainder of the year.
I know, it makes sense.
And then the very right column is what it's going to be budgeted for
Filled.
2027.
For full benefits for full-time.
Yeah,
So the 48 would equate to 200 a month for 2 people.
for 2 people.
Yep.
Yep.
So our 26 budget will be 66,000 and change. When you add up the 26 cost and the current, those two will be 66
Yep.
some dollars, and our budget is 85, so we'll be
Yep.
considerably under budget.
Yep. And then next year is
It'll go
where
down
is
to
the
70.
8,000,
It'll be 8,000 more, yeah.
Be 77.
8,000 less
Or
than
less.
what? Yep.
The net cost will decrease, that's what I meant, 8,000.
Yep.
8,000.
Well, Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to pass resolution 07263C with the addition of in the first whereas, full-time pay station clerk and other duties in environment. Just add the other duties
That's fine.
as as the job description pertains.
Okay.
I'll second that.
All right, any further discussion?
This is just another example of up at solid waste. I mean, we're really trying to build this plane in the air. I mean, we are growing so much. I mean, it's like everything is absolutely important right now. This is one aspect of it, but we need this, so.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
And
All right,
thank
that was
you.
a
Thanks,
good
Steve.
meeting. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Not yet, Barry, not yet. All right,
You have been waiting for
Carrie.
this the whole entire meeting.
we're going to end it with Carrie today.
Yeah. Save the best for last.
Oh, yes, that's it. Thank you, Madam Chair. Under my report, I don't recall if I updated before, the 1 boxes for the Narcan have all been installed through the county. Those are instructional for the use of Narcan and the Narcan as well. So maintenance completed that, I believe it was last week or the week before. 1 bargaining unit has reached out to schedule. I know I've been waiting for this. I did give some dates back that would work for the negotiation team. However, haven't heard back again. So I do know that those dates were also provided per the email that I received to other groups as well. So I don't know if we're going to be able to get that in. It was into August here, so we would have started. That was my hope. But more to come on that.
Okay.
I will be in Duluth for MACA conference Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or actually late tomorrow. I'll be in the morning. We've started our review of budget with the budgeting team and departments. We're starting that this afternoon, just starting that process, just starting to run through where some of those numbers are. And Tanya has continued to work on the payroll numbers as well, with the increase of what we're potentially anticipating for our insurance increase, and we're planning for the max on that. So that has begun, and we'll finish up just again with our initial meetings with all departments next week. I think we couldn't get everybody in all at the same time, so we got in another date that worked for people. Quick update on tornado recovery. Some of this has already been talked about. That the grinding had stopped the end of last week after our meeting out at environmental. They're exploring other options, such as, in the future burning permits, or, potentially hauling that to a gravel pit, et cetera, more cost effective. With that, this coming Friday, the state emergency management team will be here from 10 to 12. And we're getting all of our figures, our costs together for preliminary numbers for the state team. We anticipate we'll have additional costs that'll come forth. But again, we have been, I know Nicole and the departments that this affected are putting numbers together. So that includes, wages, contractors, machinery costs. I did get a list that I did distribute out to those departments so they could.
Will we have that for Friday or not? I know it won't be a finalized number because it'll.
We will have that.
changing, but-
Yes, the preliminary numbers that we have thus far, the idea was to have that ready by Friday when they come on site.
Okay.
So yes. Let's see what else.
Madam
Oh,
Chair,
yes.
we talked about attendance at that meeting. I would like to sit in on that and hear what they have to say. We've got to make sure we don't have quorum there. Does anyone else want to, or?
I plan on being there, but
If you two guys go, then go.
Or, okay.
Do they need to?
Yeah, we can just go ahead and
I'd
post
just
it,
like to
just
hear
so
what
You
we're.
want to post it just in
I
case?
can
post it today.
Yeah, and that meeting is here at the commission room from 10 to noon. And that's also for townships as well as utility companies, public
What
entities.
day is that?
Friday,
Friday.
10 to noon.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll just post it just in the event, even with having two, want to
Okay.
probably post that, so. Any questions with regards to the disaster? I know you all got all my updates that I was, my media releases that I was doing during that time. Oh, yes, the the wood trophy, the tree trophy, I'll call it. I was able to go over to Rubicon early one morning prior to them going out into the field, and the tree trophy, again, as I've so named it, was given to me to present to the commission just for appreciation. That was a tree that was trimmed out there, and the team, the volunteers signed off on that, so.
I think, one of the problems I see is if they're going to cut the chunks in that small of pieces to haul out, it's going to take a long time.
They're volunteers.
Especially if they have to sign all of them.
Would you explain what that group is?
Yes, it's a veteran organization. It's nationally known or recognized. And they're basically a group of volunteers. I had, Michael was kind of the gentleman that was in charge of this. They had anywhere from 20 to 30 volunteers in the area for a week. They did service they went out and did a lot of assessments. So they did more of that emergent types of volunteer work for the people that were affected by tornadoes or that needed, such as roof tarping, tree cutting up, and stacking, brush removal, debris removal. So it was at no cost to the county or to the homeowner.
I think that should be brought up at the meeting and state that, there's a lot of hours here, and I don't know if they can be reimbursed for some of their.
They are putting together, I don't know, he wasn't sure if he'd have all of his data ready for Friday, but I will receive that.
Yeah.
He did indicate that their hours.
Just another huge shout out to all of them,
Yes.
giving their time and labor, and also to all the other individuals and groups and charities that have donated even food and waters out there, and the families out on site. I mean, we were when we were walking around there was a family that just was feeding people. The crews, the Wild Rice Electric was out there with I don't know how many trucks, and people were, frantically getting people their power back that night. It was really amazing to be out there, and just the community spirit and everyone. Today we had accepted donations that will go out to individuals who need it the most, and it's just a thanks to all the county staff. We heard such positive remarks for the county staff that came on site and was helping immediately and protecting the property. So you can't say enough about the actions of the people that responded to this, and between law enforcement and rescue and Wild Rice and the community.
And Adam, the
Adam had
emergency
it all planned
manager.
out.
Yeah, I mean, he did
He just
such a
boom,
fantastic job.
And it went off without a.
Yep, flawless. Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah, when you have a disaster,
Yeah.
this probably went as well as it could have. So.
Yeah,
yes,
no
we're
loss of
fortunate.
life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And to those that see the pictures and the drones, they're bad, but they don't bring anything to justice of what was out there. When you walk it, it's like, holy mackerel,
we were
it's a lot worse.
2 days later.
Yeah.
I mean, so just imagine what it would have been like.
When you see a three-stall garage that was attached to a house that you don't even know where it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
the emergency response was amazing. I lived right there, and it was fast, and there was a lot of them. It was really good.
So again, that meeting's Friday, so we are collecting our information, and we will be submitting in the very near future. So the last thing that I have is the Verizon Tower discussion. I did bring this forth. It was alluded to with regards to reports through the courthouse committee, but I thought that this would be a topic that you would all want to be brought up to speed. So this is in relation to the Verizon Tower that is out in the Bad Medicine area. I got contacted by a gentleman, a lease agent, I think was his title. And Mary and Steve both had sat in on the phone call with me. And so basically what they were indicating is that they would like us to consider, we currently have a contract where this is our second year of a 4-year contract. There are 4 5-year renewal. No, that's not right. 5-year contract. And then there's an additional option for them to renew 4 times at 5 years apiece. So
What it currently is.
that is what it is currently, yes. $8,400 lease payment a year. And so they were asking us if we would consider lowering our lease amount to $500 with a 5% escalator, which I think is $525 if I did my math correct.
5% every 5 years,
Every 5 years.
not annually.
No, just every 5 years. Yeah.
Every 5 years, yes, you're right.
So 1.1% increase.
1%.
Yes, you are correct. And so again, it would be significantly less that we're able to collect on this particular contract, or for the county to consider a one-time buyout payment, which they have put in here. And so when I discussed this at the committee, and I did bring this up also in the finance committee, I did not hear a lot of support from this board to take any of those options, but I wanted everybody to hear the same information.
Well, I just got a new phone and I offered to pay less to them and they declined.
I mean, but it doesn't make any sense. I don't understand what the incentive is.
For us,
Yeah.
you think?
No.
I couldn't, Mary, unless you have something
Well,
I'm not.
if you've read the letter, they're indicating that they may or may not continue use of this tower then.
Correct.
And
So the risk, and they can also in our
if they're
contract give a
they're making
notice.
decisions on $2,400 a year,
There may be,
then I think we're in trouble. Or
Mm-hmm.
they're in trouble. So if they're going to drop this because of a $2,400, isn't it $2,400 annual decrease then? 2,400?
506,000, yes, 24, yeah, right around 2,400.
And a
$500
long-term
left.
decrease. I mean, if they were reviewing it at a renewal time, it would be something you could look at. But mid-term it's like, no. We have a contract and you're gonna pay this amount regardless if you have a tower there or not for the next for the 5-year term, and then you can ask us to think about it. But other than that, it shouldn't even. No.
Well, and in the contract language, it also indicates that there can be a 90-day notice as well on the contract.
But then they have to remove the property.
The way it's written currently, they would have to remove the property. They were also asking in the new language for a perpetual easement, which would mean if they vacated, then.
So there's absolutely zero benefit for Becker County taxpayer and everything for a $1 billion.
I couldn't
Verizon.
think of any benefits. I looked for some benefits for
And
the
they
county.
have
I can't
not
find
reduced
any.
any fees. An activation charge, you've had a service there for 20 years and you have to activate a phone for $40 every time you, I don't have a lot.
what I had suggested is for Carrie to go back to him and say, we are not interested. And if they want to provide us additional information, they're more than welcome to come and present.
That's exactly what I
To the
said.
board.
If they want to explain why we should even consider it, come to the board and
Yep.
state your case.
Yep.
And then everyone bring our Verizon bills and say,
Yep.
show me where I walk out of
Where
there.
will I see the savings?
Where will you have a line deduction for Becker County residents on this bill? Because it's the only way, if we can get a cost savings for Becker County.
Yep.
Yep, so just to reiterate, I wasn't necessarily looking for this as an action item unless you really wanted to pursue one of these other options, but I wasn't hearing that there was support for that. But
We could
again,
counter with, we'll raise the price if they want. To
$40 a time.
And even 12 grand a year. If they want to increase, we'll consider that.
I will not consider perpetual easement, I already know that, but everything else
Yeah.
is negotiable as far as I'm
Well,
concerned.
they must be, my guess is they're losing customers. Because I left Verizon. Saved a lot.
Really?
Yeah.
I better review that myself, because I have 6 lines with them.
All right.
all right, so
Anything else?
that is all I have.
All right. Anything else for the board? All right, we are adjourned.